Hi everybody!
Hello!
This is Intertwined Stitches, episode 16, and today is Thursday, December 19th, 2013. Yes. Hello and welcome!
Almost Christmas!
That's right, just a few days away.
What, 6 now?
I got most of my
5?
shopping done, so I'm not stressed about it so much anymore.
It's a week ago yesterday. So
but
6.
I haven't gotten all my knitting done, and it doesn't look like some of my gift knitting is going to be done until after Christmas. But hopefully it won't matter.
Nobody cares. I've determined.
Right? As long as they get it, something, right?
Yeah. I got something for everyone so far. My husband was supposed to pick up my other brother-in-law's gift because he was going to be in Millerton today. But the store he was going to go to was closed. So we'll have to try that again before we leave. We leave on Saturday for Ohio. We spend Christmas and New Year's with our family in Ohio. So the boys are very excited. They're counting down, and I'm like, we have to drive 8 hours.
Yeah, it should have nice weather though, right?
Yeah,
maybe
I
a
hope
little
so.
bit of rain, but at least it won't be snowing.
Yeah. Well, at least not here.
Well, right. It'll be kind of warm this weekend.
Yeah, it's supposed to start raining Friday here. So hopefully it'll clear out our driveway. We got a couple snowstorms since we last recorded. We got one Saturday and then we got another one Tuesday. So we've had 2 snow days in 2 weeks.
Right. It's a winter wonderland out there.
It is beautiful. But my husband's snowblower picked up a big rock when he was snowblowing the driveway and it broke. So he did not finish plowing the drive, so I cannot get my van back into it.
Well, we broke our snow shovel, so I'm just like driving in and out of the snow. That's not easy.
We're hoping that the rain on Friday will clear out the drive so he can park his car back in the driveway since we're going to be gone for a week. And that way, it'll be out of the way. It is. I would say the angle of our driveway is at least 65 to 70 degrees. It is like this, just straight up. And it is my least favorite part about winter. We used to have to shovel it, and we've lived here for 3 years now, and we used to shovel it, and it's just backbreaking. It's just a nightmare. But then we bought the snowblower.
Yeah, that's definitely easier.
Yes. Although it's not terribly easy to maneuver up that driveway because it's heavy. It's an old one. Anyways, this is a knitting program, not a program about weather. How was your week? We just talked about that. Do you have any finished objects with you?
Yes.
You're wearing one.
I'm wearing one. This is one project that I had to get done for a gift for tomorrow. So it's done today and I get to wash it and block it later. But it's the Laurel Wood hat that I knit once before in the...
Sorry, Sushi's in here.
Remember the red Galileo bamboo and wool blend? I
that
knit
your
the
sister
same
walked
pattern.
off with.
Yes. So this is how it looks on the side.
It's very cute.
Nice and slouchy. So I'm happy with how it came out, and I used a little bit of a thicker yarn than called for. This is Elspeth Lavold's Silky Wool, and it's a DK, and you're supposed to use a sport, but it worked out fine.
I have several finished objects this week, but the majority of them all went to their respective owners. I finished those pink mittens of doom, and they are now on the little 4-year-old's hands, so that's good. It only took me 2 tries for that second mitten. But yeah, they're gone. There's a picture on Instagram if you really care to see them. I also made my son's teacher's cup cozies where I crocheted a cup cozy around and then I knit a little pocket and sewed it on the side and I stuck gift cards in them and they were on reusable coffee mugs that had lids.
Cute.
So those are also on Instagram if you care to see. And then my husband did not wear a hat to work today, so I get to show off his windchief. So there's this. It was very nicely. I love this pattern a lot. It's very easy, but it looks really nice. My husband really likes it. He's stretched his out quite a bit because he's got a big head, and I apparently knitted on the wrong needles. I did the brim on size 4s. It calls for 6s. And then I think I still knit the body on 7, so like that.
You wanted it to stay on.
Apparently. In my head, I read that it was size 4 needles. Yeah, so those are my finished objects for this week.
And I only have one other thing I was knitting this week.
So this might be a really short show this week.
I know, because usually I have a bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I really wanted to get this hat done on time, so I really concentrated on the hat, and I didn't really pick up many other projects besides the Traveling Woman out of the Knit Picks diadem. And I think it's coming out beautiful. I just am having a little bit of issue with the yarn.
Is it splitty?
The yarn has been tangly.
Oh.
Very tangly. I had a problem using a center pull ball. I would get all this yarn barf that was tangled, and I had to cut it.
Yarn barf is the worst.
So I wound it into a regular ball, and which has been working a little bit better, but I'm still getting places where it's tangled. And then I just found a knot.
Oh man!
So I have to, and that's in the middle of a row. But I was like, I'm just going to leave it in the middle of the row. I'm not going to even bother. Because I would have to tink back all the way to the other side.
Right.
To have the
So
yarn ends on the edge. You can't even find
it now, so.
Yeah. It's right.
Oh. I thought you were not finding it. Excuse me.
Bless you. So that's it. The last row. But it's close enough to the edge. I think I can hide it. Okay.
Yeah.
But I do like the transitioning of the colors. You can see it's kind of sort of striping now. Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see how it plays out with the next lace part. Because I'm getting pretty close to doing the first chart of lace.
Exciting stuff.
Yes. Okay.
Sushi, I need to talk about my works in progress now. You're very cute. First of all, I want to say that it is almost Christmas here in the U.S. I think it's Christmas everywhere that celebrates. No, that's not true, because in Holland they celebrated Santa Claus on the 5th. Anyways, it's almost Christmas here. That was sushi fur. Sorry. I am a ninja fighting invisible demons. I don't have a big ugly Christmas sweater, but I do have an entire Ziploc baggie full of horrible Christmas jewelry that my mom or my grandmother or somebody, I think it was my grandmother, passed on to me. So I am wearing their gingerbread men with this big gaudy cutout looking star earring. So that's my tribute to Christmas with my ugly Christmas earrings. The boys were having fun helping me pick them out.
I'm wearing Christmas green.
There you go. And my middle son wanted me to wear these big dangly jiggly earrings, and I'm like, no, Mommy moves around too much to wear jingle bells on the show. So what I'm working on this week, I crocheted my brother a big ear flap hat. My brother, my dad, and I are all 49ers fans. Woo, go 49ers. And I was crocheting this while I watched the god-awful Giants and Cowboys, I think it was, last week. I don't even remember. It was a blowout. Ravens. I don't like the Ravens. Boo. Anyways, it was a big blowout, and I was like, can't I please just watch the 49ers game? But because we live in New England, they think that we all want to watch the Patriots, the Giants, and the Jets. I don't want to watch any of them. I am an anti-Patriots fan. Anyways, that's my football tangent. I crocheted him a 49ers hat, and it is going to be a mohawk hat. And I started on the mohawk, but I still need to go.
I was wondering about that. I'm like, that's a little cute little decoration.
I made it bangs.
Funky.
It's going to go the whole way back, the hat, but after, this is like 10 or 12 chunks of tassel put on there, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so done with tassel right now. But it's going to go the whole way back, the hat. And then it's going to have braids of the colors coming down. Because my brother is a funky hat kind of guy. Last year for Christmas, I made him a normal hat. I just knit him in the 49ers colors, just a normal hat. And then my mom bought him a sock monkey hat that had ear flaps and this hat. He loved it. He went nuts over it, and I was like, boo to my little
simple hat.
So this year, I'm going crazy, and I'm making him a big crazy flap hat. Also, for Christmas gifts, I started another Windchief for my dad. This is Barocco Ultra Alpaca. I don't know what the colorway is. Some yarn stores like make up names for them or something and put it on the label, and it's like whimsical and cute. Ours doesn't do that. She's like, this is the number, that's what it is. Don't try and be cutesy. I am very annoyed with her right now, in case you were wondering. I asked her to order a magazine for me because I'm helping a friend who can't get, a viewer who can't get the Harry Potter Knits book because she lives overseas. So I called to make sure she had one, and it turned out she didn't. She had just sold the last one the day before. And so I asked her to go ahead and order it for me, and she's like, okay, it'll take a week and a half. It's been, 2.5 weeks? Almost 3 weeks. And I keep calling her, and she's like, no, it's not in yet. Interweave hasn't sent me my package yet. And I'm like, could you please let me know when it comes in? Because I'm kind of waiting on this.
Right.
And she's like, oh, sure, I'll send you an email.
Because you just could have ordered it online.
Exactly. I'm really annoyed. That's my next step, is to order it, to have it sent here, and then send it to her, but it was like extra shipping to have it sent to me, and I didn't want to. At this point, I think I'm going to have to, because I would rather pay that extra whatever and say, I'm really sorry that it took this time, but anyways, that's a tangent. So, it's nice. Floofy, I cast it on when I was getting my boys ready to go to the Boy Scout Christmas party last night. And so I did a 2x2 rib at the bottom, and it's supposed to be 1x1, but I don't think my dad will notice.
Is it a twisted rib?
Yeah, it is twisted. So there's that. It's a variegated black and gray. It's very soft. And very hairy, excuse me. So hopefully he'll like it. I like it. I did the long tail cast on, and this this tiny little nubbin is what I had left over.
How are you gonna weave that in?
I don't know. It'll get stuck up in there, and then I'll like rub it to felt it in there or something. I was like, I don't want to recast on, because it's not a short amount of stitches that I cast on.
I hate doing that.
Like, I'm just working with it. I tied it in a knot there so it wouldn't come undone. I could have just, but I didn't. Nope. And then by the time I realized that I shouldn't have done a 2x2 rib for the brim, I was already working on the body of the hat, and I'm like, I'm not ripping back. It's too late. It's crunch time for Christmas gifts. He'll either like it or he won't. And then I've been working on my trillion, which has grown.
You're almost done with that.
Yes, I keep debating whether or not I want to cast off. Like, no, maybe another row or two. No, maybe the next row. No, maybe the next row. But I just keep going. I need to just bind off and have it be done so that I can cast on another something. But
it's hard when you have so much yarn left.
It's getting lower and lower, but I still have this much yarn.
Quite a bit.
Yeah. And I'm like, do I keep going? I have other colors in my stash that are scraps that coordinate with this. Like, I have a scrap that's hot pink and black, and then I have a scrap that's like this robin's egg blue, and I was thinking about just going ahead and binding this off now, and then making one of those magic yarn cakes with all of those colors in it, and making something fun with the leftovers. So we'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do. Right now I just keep knitting on it. Like, well, it could be done. Once it's blocked, it's going to be taller than I am, but because it already is it's my entire wingspan without stretching or blocking yet.
Yeah, that's probably a good size.
I think so. I also I didn't bring any of them down here, but on Instagram, a friend of mine had arm knit a cowl, and it was so cool, and I was like, what's arm knitting? So I went on YouTube and I'm like, arm knitting. And it was like, here's all these cool things you can do. And I'm like, shoot, I'm trying it.
So is that where you stick the needle under your arm?
No, you literally use your arms like knitting needles. And like you cast on, like long tail cast on with your hands, and you've got these big loops on your arm because you use like super bulky yarn. And then you hold it and you flip the loop over and you put the loop on your next arm, and
I never heard of that.
it's really neat. I took a couple skeins of the bulky Brava bulky. It's not thick enough. I held it double and it still was very loosey-goosey. But I used 2 balls and I went until I ran out of yarn, and it I kid you not, I can hold it like this over my head and stand in it and it goes the whole way around. It's so long. I can like octuple wrap it around my head. It was a little crazy. But it was fun. It was fun to do. So I had 2 skeins of the exact same colorway of that ruffle yarn.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knit those 2 together. And that was a much, it looks like it's supposed to look. It's not all wimbly-nimbly, loosey-goosey. And I did that and made a infinity scarf yesterday, but I forgot to bring it down. It's pink and gray. I think the colorway is like ballet or tutu or something. But it's really fun. If you haven't done arm knitting, at least look on YouTube and see what it is. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Apparently, like all the hipster people are doing it. I'm like, I don't want to be a hipster, but this is really neat. And it's quick. I think I did the whole skeins length, and I think it maybe took me 45 minutes, and that was learning how to do it. And then whenever I did the other one yesterday, it only took me 10 or 15 minutes. It was really, it's fun. It's
cool.
Neat. But then my husband's like, what are you going to do if you have to go to the bathroom? I'm like, that's a good question. I can't just set it down.
Right, you can't just jump up a little bit.
So we have some administrative things to talk about.
Sure do. We have the 100-member prize drawing.
Yay!
That was just opened yesterday. Yay!
Thank you, 100 members!
For having 100 members in the group.
So
Thank you for everyone for joining. And so we opened up a prize thread, and all you need to do to win either this skein of Cascade Yarns hand paint.
It's really pretty. You want me to show it closer?
Sure.
So it's got dark blues and purples and greens and browns, and it's very pretty.
And the other prize is a pattern of your choice up to $8 in value. So we have 2 prizes so far.
Yes.
And we're going to keep it open for 2 weeks.
Yeah, until we record again.
I think it was, I don't
The
remember
9th?
the date.
Is that what you said?
I don't remember the date, but if you look on the prize thread,
The 6th?
you'll see.
I don't know. I'm just throwing out days now. I guess I can look on my phone. It has a handy-dandy calendar. Anyways, we're going to close the thread and draw it right before we record.
And all you need to do is just post a picture and tell us about either your most recent finished object or what you're working on now. And it could be knitting, spinning, crochet.
The 3rd.
Okay, so we'll leave it open till January 3rd when we next record.
Yes.
Having until then to enter.
I'll
One
be
entry
out of
per
town,
person.
so we'll record them. Yes, I keep interrupting. I'm sorry. Yes, 1 entry per person.
You must be a member of the group, obviously.
And the prompt was just what you're working on or your most recent finished object.
Yeah.
And if you are the lucky winner of the pattern, it could be a sweater pattern for our upcoming KAL.
Yes, we have a sweater knit along starting on January, going through March 31st. So it's a 3-month knit along. And because sweaters take a long time, and if you want to start a sweater during that time, it might take you all that time to finish it. But we don't expect everyone to finish a sweater in that time, so you can enter a sweater that you've already started. Maybe this will give you some incentive to pick up a sweater that you have put down that's in hibernation. Finish it up. You can enter it into the contest. We're giving away a sweater quantities worth of yarn. and 2 sweater patterns. Up to what, $8 in value?
Yeah, 8, 10, whatever. As long as it's not a whole ebook.
Right. So we've got a chatter thread open in the group. So if you want to hop over there and
sweater
check
planning.
it out. Yeah.
I think that I'm going to work on my Ginny cardigan to get it done.
Yeah, and I'll be working on my Rogue sweater.
But I've also been trolling the patterns for a seamed sweater, I think. Because all the other sweater, well, except for my Lighthouse Keeper's Wife, all the other patterns that I knit were seamed. And they go so much faster for me. Because, like, oh, here's this part. I can put that away and start on the next part. Because I am a larger person. The pieces are a lot less stitches, and for me it goes a lot easier.
Yeah.
And then I just put it all together as opposed to knitting it all, and I'm like, this is so many stitches.
I just hate seaming so much.
I don't mind it. For me, it's like you start seaming and then you pull it taut, and it's like, it's magic.
It is magic how it goes together, especially like the mattress stitch, how it looks exactly like knitting.
Yes. I did. For my first finished sweater was my eldest son's sweater, and it was just a free Lion Brand pattern, I think. And I did not do the mattress stitch. I just sewed it together. I just sewed the pieces together. And it looked okay, but you could definitely see the seam. So then for my middle son's sweater, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this right. I went on YouTube, found out how to do it, and I did it, and it was like magic. And I'm like, oh man, now I feel bad about the other one. Not that he cares, but that's the sweater that I made the neck hole way too small. I forced it over his head like once, and he was like, Mom, that really hurt my ears, and I've never done it again. So it just sits in our bedroom. I keep meaning to tink back and make it a little looser around the neck, like a placket or something. I don't know.
Right.
Because I did do all that work to make it, and it just does not fit over his head. You live and learn, right? So now any sweater I make for my boys is going to have a placket or be a cardigan because they have such big heads. I even, like, in the pattern, I allotted for it to be bigger. Like, I started the decreases later so that it would be bigger. No, what did I do? I don't know what I did. I didn't do as many decreases. Yeah, that's what it was. I didn't do as many decreases, and it still was too small. They've got big heads.
Yeah, I like the placket necks. I've been making a lot of those for my son. It worked out good.
It's just easier.
The wonderful wallaby and the sweater I'm knitting now. Placket.
Live and learn.
Anyway.
I think that's about all we have to talk about this week.
That's all we have. We have, we'll have more progress to show you after the holidays.
Yes. I have an 8-hour car ride ahead of me to and from.
Do you like to knit in the car?
I do, as long as Jeff lets me. Sometimes he makes me drive. Usually he drives during the day so that I can knit, and then I drive at night. But sometimes it gets messed around, and I don't get to do that.
I sometimes have a hard time getting car sick, so usually we don't drive more than like 2 or 3 hours, so that's good.
I've never been car sick. Oh, that's not true. When I was pregnant with Owen, and we had just moved here, well, we hadn't been living in Connecticut very long. And Connecticut, where we live, is very mountainous and hilly and windy-twindy, and I used to get car sick when I was pregnant with Owen, and that was miserable. No thanks.
Okay, well, I don't know if I ever introduced myself today. So I am Lakshmi, also known as Knitter by Nature, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram, and thanks to all the Instagram followers, and we're having a lot of fun with that.
Yes. And I'm Stephanie, also known as XCO Mom. You've been watching
Intertwined Stitches. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Happy knitting.
New Year. Happy knitting.